Welcome back to Path of Exile, guys. The good news is we're playing Path of Exile. The bad news is we're playing Path of Exile from the beginning. Last episode we died to Piety after killing her the previous episode before that. And we have to start all over. Now, yesterday I spent all day trying to level a witch back up to level 44, which is where Man Witch was killed. And I got to level 40. I was heading into Act 4. I got caught on the bridge during a delirium. One of the delirium mobs was blocking my way. And an explosion went off at the same spot. And when I blinked, instead of blinking through the bridge, I blinked in the same spot and couldn't get off the bridge. And the explosion killed me. So, yeah. I think I figured out how to play the witch better. Just better build, especially when I'm playing Necromancer. You actually want to summon as many mobs as possible, rather than try to do a mix of spells. So we should be able to level a little bit faster this time around, as I was yesterday, for sure. We're still not, by any means, super efficient, but it should be better than prior episodes. I think we're going to have to slow down a little bit in the fog, and definitely play a little bit more defensively. We've died so many times in hardcore at this point. Uh, I would love to see the end game. I would love to see it, but I think I'm playing more like a player who. Oh, and we added a health bar to our character as well, which is kind of nice. And as well as long with, if I could speak here for a second, as well with the enemies. Right there, as you can see, should help a little bit. Skip all tutorials, yes. That there, we'll put our feet there. I've been keeping track of what people are saying about Delirium on the Reddit forum. And Grinding Gear Games came out with a... I believe they called it a manifesto. Just kind of a weird... maybe it's not weird, I don't know. But anyway, just things they're going to be looking at and changing in the future. Today, a patch was released this morning, so that may have been those changes. I didn't look at it. I probably should have. But they're working on fixing issues with the game. One of the issues was the lag that some people were experiencing, that they said they were able to recreate on some machines that they have in their offices. And they are working on figuring that out. It kind of looks like maybe they did figure it out. There's definitely has been an improvement on the lag for me. So I'm not entirely sure if it should get better for me or not. I don't know. Currently, the community seems to be upset about the way this league's actually working out. And for me, I like it, and I know anybody that's doing the in-game content doesn't like to hear that kind of thing from a player who's basically playing casually at this point. Because we're playing two different games, right? I understand that. I have played games at a very high level before, and it is like playing a different game. And so it's easy for me to say the game's fine. You don't know what you're talking about when we're playing two different games essentially. So the biggest complaint though is it's difficult to see things with the gray backgrounds for the Delirium realm, which I'll agree with that. It is visually, it's difficult to see. Now it doesn't bother me, but again, I'm playing at the bottom end of the tier where some of these players are playing, at the extreme right ends of the tier, where that stuff could be very important, right? If you can't see something, you might just be dead, which might not be a good design choice. Excuse me, I had to take a drink there. coffee. I'm not sure how bad it is because I'm not playing it, but there seems to be some complaints about that. One of the other issues people are talking about is the way the league sets up getting loot, right? So, Ray Zombie, of course. I heard they were going to nerf the Necromancer builds. Which is probably, I don't know to what degree they're going to nerf them and how much that's going to actually affect their viability, but it is something that is being talked about. Because Necromancers are supposed to be really strong at the moment. But back to what I was talking about with the issues that the top level players are complaining about. Visual clarity is one. Also, because a lot of the mobs have on death effects, you're encouraged to, and I've tried this out on my own, what you really want to do in the Delirium is skip picking up loot so you can clear as much as possible. And so what you wind up having is a map full of loot that you have to go back and pick up, which doesn't necessarily feel great, going back through empty content just to pick up stuff. But I saw GGG's response. GGG is what the community calls Grinding Gear Games, and that they can't really go about fixing this. And I kind of agree with them in this regard, to have an AARPG where the loot just kind of pops up. I don't know if that necessarily makes sense, at the very end instead of... I mean, they could do it, but... Oh, I don't know. We'll see what they do. But I could see why the players are annoyed with it, especially ones that are, grinding and farming loot and trying to get, maximize their time investment into the game, right? That's what these players are really doing, right? They're trying to put in X amount of time into the game and receive the most amount of benefit back, and that's what makes them high-level players, right? It's the efficiency in that regard. Yeah, take a lot of damage there. But alternatively, I saw some other posts this morning about how some people are saying, the fog, and this is really the issue, not so much that the players are having to slow down, it's that the players are pushing too hard, right? There's a school of thought that because players are able to run through the content to, and I'll start running through some of the content here when we get, I take it all back, I'm going to stay hidden way over here and get out of the fog, because we just almost died at the very start of the game. Do I have mana for zombies? Actually almost put it to us there. Please don't kill us, Fire Fury. So anyway, I need some scrolls here. Oh, I got a few there. Let's just put on some gear here real quick. But anyway, the issue with the league, and I don't know if it's necessarily an issue, is these high-level players, and rightfully so, they want to speed through these zones and push it to the limit every single time because they're good players, and that's where you get the best reward. That's how you play the game. You just try to. There's no regulator to stop them from going to the edges, right? And they're going to go to the edge because that's what players do. And I could, again, I could be speaking some ignorance here because I haven't played the content. So take everything I say with a grain of salt as a casual PoE player. Or a bad, you could, I wouldn't even necessarily say I'm casual. I'm not very good at the game. Just say that. But the issue is not that the game is overtuned, or that all those things need to be relooked at. That players need to just slow down, right? And they're not used to having the ability to ramp up the difficulty as high as they want, as soon as they want, right? Where movement is what their limiting factor was, or movement is their limiting factor, right? If they can move quickly from one point to the other, which most characters can, is my understanding, then the difficulty can ramp as high as high as the player wants. And players will push that envelope every single time because that's what, especially good players, that's what they do. And usually everything goes well until it doesn't, right? I think, I don't know how they address this issue, and I don't know if it is an issue necessarily. Um, you do have to cater to the, this is my opinion. I don't know if this is correct. I mean, I'm not I'm not in the industry. I don't necessarily know how this works, but I think you do have to cater to your 1%, your best players, right? Or your 2% or 3%, the top end, because those are the players that make the game ultimately. Um, but I don't know how they balance it. And I'm sure the developers, I have full faith that they know what they're doing and they know what's going to work and what's not going to work. And a lot of people go. I don't want to say they go gloom and doom with everything when they cry for changes, and sometimes you just die and you make a mistake. And I'm not saying I'm not picking sides or anything here. I just know that some things probably do need to be changed, which I'm sure the developers are more than happy to hear. And you got to think as a high-end player, and I know it's hard to. It's real easy to say, well, haven't they tested this stuff? And I'm sure they did, but you guys at the top 1% are. I don't want to say you're beta testing, but you're the best players, that are playing the game right now, better than the people that probably tested the game. And yeah, it's you just can't account for all that stuff, right? I don't think you can anyway. Maybe you can. I don't know. So you gotta cut them some slack when working through some of these issues. And sometimes, and a lot of people aren't gonna like me saying this, but the game changes and you have to adjust the way that you've been used to playing it, right? Sometimes that does happen. So something that may have worked for you in the past might not work anymore, and it might be designed that way. We should probably put in our skill points while we. Oh, just got kicked from the server. That's not good. Speaking too much truth up here. I think it's going to put us back. Yeah, it did. That's unfortunate. I don't think we. Well, hang on. Did we get the. No. So we lost a lot of progress there. That's okay. I know ultimately the developers of the game want the game to be good, and they want. They want to take care of their high-end players, and they want to. We don't want to go that way. No, don't put us in the mud flats. Actually, that should have put us in the mud flats. Yeah, I don't think we're connected to the server right now. Let's try going back to line eyes. No, we can exit the login screen. That's fine. The servers may be down. It's very possible. Just to keep touching on that, though, I'm sure they want the game to be good for everybody, and I'm sure they want to cater to their high-end players as well. I have no doubt about that. No doubt about that whatsoever. Huh. Another person is logged into this account, so well, let's give it a minute for them to kick me out of my character, because as far as the server is concerned, I'm still logged in. It's a good time to have a sip of coffee. Let's see, was there anything else interesting? Not really. I mean, there's a lot of people enjoying the game, and there's a lot of complaints, and those are the ones you're going to see most of, right? The people that are complaining about something are the most vocal. Yeah, if you're enjoying the game, you're just playing the game. If you're upset about something, you're on a forum talking about it. It's just the nature of the beast. And I'm not, trying to diminish their complaints by any means. They're probably all valid complaints. Let's see, anything else? I saw. I started to look at the item filtering methodology the other day, And it's interesting. It's kind of like a very crude programming language that they have, where they have data types and they have conditionals, and they probably have written their own parser to deal with that language. It's like their own little filtering language. It's pretty basic to understand, but it looks like you have to have at least a decent understanding of the game to write anything useful, or spend quite a bit of time, because there are some people with pre-made filters that you can just put into your documents file. Let's log in here. But they're 4,000 line filters that are, I'm sure, took quite a bit of time and many years to develop. But it's kind of hard to see exactly what I'm gonna get. Like, am I gonna miss quest items by doing that? Like, I don't know the game well enough to be able to just accept some of these filters carte blanche. But it looks like to have a good filter, you have to write 4,000 lines of filter code, Grinding Gear Games filter code, which I don't know if I'm quite up for doing this afternoon, or yesterday afternoon rather. I think this is like the best minion-based skill you could pick up, so it might be worth rushing over there. But at the same time, I still like going this way and picking up this health right here. So I'm going to be doing that. Probably is a mistake, but we got 2 skill points here. We're going to do it anyway. Anyway, so if you're into the programming at all, or you're just curious about item filtering, I highly suggest you look at it. It looks like it's simple to use, but difficult to master, to where you're gonna. And that's to be honest with you, how most languages work. They're well, and it's not a programming language, but it's they're typically simple to use, simple to learn, but very difficult to master, and because you want to give people the ability to do just about anything, right? And that's what happens when you have a complex system like I'm sure what this game is. I don't know if I just spoke a whole load of bollocks there, but kind of felt like I did. Anyway, if you're into programming, that should be right up your alley. And I actually happen to be into programming, so I may check it out. Although it seems like a lot of work to really be able to fine-grain tune what you might actually want for a character, which is good, but again, it's a bit of a time investment. I think once I understand the game a little bit better, it might be easier to adopt somebody's 4,000 line filter and then fine-tune that into my own needs. Anyway, it's impressive though, nonetheless. I like that. I like the system. It'd be nice if they built a GUI for it. I don't know what kind of development time that would take, and whether they really think that that's worth their effort to do it, but it'd be nice. I wouldn't hold my breath for it, though. I don't think it's something we're going to see from them, because I think that system's been in, and actually I'm just guessing, although I'm sure I did read it yesterday. I think it's been in the game for a while, and I don't think they've changed it drastically since then. It is kind of neat that you can adjust the way the items look when they drop, so you can visually give yourself better clarity if the item's exactly what you're looking for or not. And I'll say this, it does seem like the servers are definitely more stable than they were yesterday. And I say this even though we've disconnected. It just looks like the lag is gone. Although we aren't really pushing anything graphically. We've got 0 zombies on the screen. No raging spirits. Could probably run this on a Raspberry Pi if you were inclined to do so. Although I wouldn't recommend it. And if they did fix the issue with well, and I don't even know if it was an issue on their end, but they've optimized it in a way that it's fixed some of the problems. If they did that in one day, I mean it's pretty impressive, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know what their code base looks like, but to be able to go in there and resolve a problem overnight, um, it's pretty cool, really. Pretty cool. Especially with the virus situation going on. I don't know if all their employees are working from home right now, or which actually is probably to their benefit. What? I thought I got Raging Spirit Raider. We'll take Phantasm support. Look at this here. It's cool. Pop you in there. Don't have. Oh, that's okay there. This is not great gear we picked up at all, really. That's not bad. 2 blues and a green, all wired, or I don't know what they call that. Linked together. Yeah, we don't have a belt, so that's definitely an upgrade. Arcane Surge support. I could have sworn I had that in there. Well, I don't want to drop Fireball. I definitely need some kind of Arcane Surge support on there. That seems terrible too. Well, you know what? I guess we're just going to go with that. Actually, Arcane Surge support should be paired with Fireball, and Phantasm support should probably be with Zombies. Go to the Fetid Pool. Oh, it's as close as we can get to the coast. Unfortunately, we did have to, start over again. I mean, I was really close to being back to where we were supposed to be last night, but we got ate up by the Delirium. I think we're gonna have to play more careful with the Delirium. We're the example of trying to run a race we're not we're not trained to race in. We don't have the gear to do it, right? Because I actually have yesterday I was doing it. I was clearing most of the map just by not picking up loot and running, and having multiple summons out. And when I say multiple summons, I mean like every ability we had was a summon, which is what we're going to try to do this playthrough too, because we're summoners. We're a necromancer. And so it's worthwhile to even pick up, even from the shop, pick up an ability that just summons one extra thing. Because a lot of that stuff, it's just, summon once and forget it. It's just going to be with you the rest of the time you're up. That's probably a good way to handle the fog, like we just did there. Stay in the area, get what you got to get, until we get, good gear. Or, assess the way the map's laid out. Like yesterday when we were going up into the Act 4, we were even careful too. Like we were level 41, I think, at that point, which is significantly higher than we were last time we went that way. I farmed a little bit of XP, basically, before I went and fought the Act 3 boss, Dominius, just to make sure. And because that bridge was so narrow, we kind of got ourselves by trying to push it harder than we probably should have. The Fetid Pool, do we want to go in there? Yeah, we do have to go in the Fetid Pool. So that's, never tell anyone your password, guys. Especially if it's 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, that would be disastrous, let's be honest. Oh, it's good advice, and I'll say this, and I know the industry's learned from, or Grinding Gear Games has learned a lot from. They say this on the shoulders of giants, right? Tips in video games used to be just awful. Never tell anyone your password is actually a decent tip, and all the tips they've given on this game have been, at least for a newer player, excellent. You used to get tips back in the day like, you know, wear raincoat out if it's raining. And it was funny, it actually wasn't even funny. It was kind of sad because there was complexity to some of those games back in the day, and they just used those moments to tell jokes that weren't that funny. I guess in hindsight, maybe it's funny. It was a joke, as it being a joke. That was what they were telling their players. So I commend them for at least giving useful hints for newer players. It's nice. I don't know if those adjust as you get closer to endgame. Like they give you better endgame tips. I don't know. Well, we're gonna see endgame someday here, maybe. I think if we fail this run, we may have to give up on PoE. As much as I hate to say it, because I am really enjoying the game. I don't know if I can do Act 1 through 4 all over again. And I know what some of you are saying, well, just stop playing hardcore. Insert Clint Eastwood meme. No, I don't think I will. I think the key here is we have to go... We don't have to necessarily go slower, but we have to play safer. And we're going to do that by not summoning zombies, ever. No, I think we avoid the... Actually, I think if we made a pact to avoid the Delirium for now... But see, I don't want to do that. I actually really enjoyed running into the Delirium and going full throttle. And once I get Blink and a few minions here, I know I'm going to want to do it, so... It's tough. I mean, players literally are their own worst enemy. We don't want to go slow, we want to go fast. Which maybe is a fundamental design problem with Delirium, is that you're not considering the players are incapable of rationalizing how far they should go in the Delirium, or even if they should go in the Delirium at all. And like I burned myself a couple times in the Metamorph League on Tane by overfeeding it, but I kind of learned from that a little bit, even though I still punished myself a couple times and died from it. After I had learned my lesson, it felt like it was a little bit more under control. And I think better players didn't necessarily experience that because they were capable of killing the same mobs that were killing me, right? They would just kill it anyway. So it didn't seem like an issue to them. But an accelerator for the fog, where you can kind of infinitely ramp the difficulty. I don't think it's necessarily the game's problem. It's maybe a problem that they didn't anticipate that players would just, run their face right into the wall. It's kind of sad that's the thing you have to consider, but I mean, maybe you do. But just thinking about it just now, I mean, I think you have to put that onus on the player to be honest with themselves and do the right thing. When you start putting on the tricycle wheels for them too much, I mean, that's when it kind of hurts the game, and you start doing it in other areas, and you're like, well, we could do that here as well, and then you wind up with a watered down experience that's not fun for anybody. So Yeah, I think actually they made the right choice in doing what they did. Because I think their audience is an audience that wants to, you know, play a difficult game and an in-depth game. Now, one of the things I do think they do need to fix is I saw a video of somebody that got killed off screen. Uh, that's kind of unacceptable. And I mean, I don't know how you fix that. I mean, I'm sure they know how you would fix it, but I don't know if that causes other issues like if you allow monsters' actions to happen server side, off screen. I mean, is that going to cause lag issues? Probably. Or I don't even know if that's how that works, to be honest with you. I have no idea. But I'm sure that's the reason they don't. Maybe the reason they don't consider it or want to consider it. Or maybe they don't want players going out of screen and throwing their own projectiles across the screen in order to avoid having to deal with certain mechanics. No one knows, but either way, it felt bad to watch that, and I'm sure it felt even worse to experience it. Your character dying to something you literally actually can't see. I mean, as much as the memes are funny about the clarity issues with Delirium, the Delirium fog, which I really don't, between you and me, and again, I'm a casual player, they don't seem that bad. In fact, I think they're fine. You do have to keep your eyes open, but and if your focus slips a little bit there, it can be difficult, but it just means you got to stay focused. There's a sense of risk or danger there, which I kind of like. And feel free to tell me I'm wrong. What were we supposed to be doing here? Explore the mudflats. Travel to Lion Eyes. Okay, I guess we go into the cave now. Well, you know what I think? I think we actually want to go back to... do you have a portal out here? Let's pick up the portal inside the cave and then head back, because I think we get our Frostblink by turning in this quest. Which we definitely want. Let's go ahead and put our skill point in as well. Deep Wisdom, sure. Frostblink, please. Raging Spirit, well, it's not Frostblink, but it's good enough. Ah, there's Frostblink. Okay, so I think these are two of my favorite skills. Or two of the ones that at least ramp up your ability to clear stuff. Phantasm support, Fireball, Arcane Surge support. I think we want that on Arcane Surge. Frostblink, on the other hand, we can't really pair it up with anything, but that'll be fine for now. It's like we don't even want to equip Fireball. We're not going to be casting it. That is an elementalist spell. I mean, you could see, if you look at the last episode, the amount of crafting reagents we had versus what we had now, we were pretty close to getting back to where we needed to go. Saving tons of gems here that I probably will never use, but they're in there. Excuse me. I'm trying to see if there's anything good that we can... support skills that hits enemies or could otherwise apply elemental ailments. Oh, well, we definitely want... I didn't even see us pick that up. We'll put that on our Frostblink, though. 9 until... Wow. I think the socket's worth more, but not a green socket. Last playthrough, I just kind of focused on sockets, really. And it seemed to work out okay. I'm not saying that it's going to work with every class, and it might not work out this playthrough, but I say it worked out. I mean, I died at level 41, heading to... we do want our portal scrolls, though. Heading to Act 4, which is not great. Not great at all. It's a birch passage. Yes, please. So again, Grinding Gear Games did release a patch today. So everything I'm talking about could have already been solved in one capacity or another. And the manifesto did sound like they had some kind of plan of action they were going to take. Now, see, I could easily just keep going here, and this is what high-level players do. They just do stuff like this, yeah, like we're doing now, which is what I started doing yesterday. Well, we actually went the wrong way, but we can still actually salvage this here, I think. But this is how you wind up dying, right? Like, I'm not equipped to run this fast in this instance. And yet, you know, especially because there's 2 exploding things. And it's hard to not do that. Like, I stopped there. I could have kept going. Especially if I had went the right way. We could have probably cleared the whole thing. But we may have died as well, so... And so what Grinding Gear Games has done is put that onus on us to just stop. Raging Spirit and Blink are really like the big time ramp up for Summoner, especially early game. Like, I don't know if we get better skills late game that ramp up your ability to clear and speed wise later, but these 2 are just phenomenal, these 2 skills. Just gonna keep picking up life. Like, I picked up a little bit of life last playthrough, and then I started focusing on damage, and I think yeah, I guess we can go to the depths and get the crab here. I think I might focus on just like as much life as possible this playthrough, because I really just don't. I want to experience the end game, and I want to do it in a hardcore capacity as well, while playing Delirium. I want it all. I'm a new player that's not great at the game, and I want to experience everything on the most difficult level. I just have to play good. Just have to get better at the game. I know people hate when you say that to them, right? Get good. And again, I'm not talking about the people playing at the end game right now, because like I said earlier in this episode, they are playing a different game. I'm really just talking to me. No hate, please. No hate, please. No hate to Reno. Every time that I die, it's felt fair. I never felt cheated. Disappointed. Like, especially on the Piety laser. I mean, that laser hits so hard, but at the same time, it's not that hard to dodge. Really. And you can just, it's not that quick either. You can just move around it. And you can actually kind of heal through it too, if you just want to take it to the face. At least a couple of hits. It didn't feel unfair, by any means. I will say the way I died yesterday felt felt kind of cheap, but that was getting stuck on the bridge. Like I was going across the bridge like this, and it'd be like blinking. Well, okay, so looking at it, I don't think it'll let you blink if you can't move the full distance. So it was like I was here and I was trying to blink, but I was, like clicking somewhere over here. As you can hear, I'm trying to blink and it just won't let me do it. So it's not necessarily cheap. Like, it felt bad though. It was the worst feeling death I've had. It's out of the first death. First one's always the worst one. First one's always the worst one. So is it quicker to run here? No, it's probably quicker to take the portal.
That would just make life complicated.
Nope, wrong way. Let's see, did we find the exit? It's not that way. And so originally though, I was going to cut all this stuff out playing through this again. But I'm sure people are tired of seeing if they've been watching all the episodes. But I wouldn't have a video to release for PoE tomorrow if I didn't, so... which could have been okay. I contemplated on just playing a little bit of Destiny 2 PvP. Or maybe doing some Gambit. Probably Crucible, though. It's more entertaining to watch. It's actually funner to play, too. Although I do enjoy Gambit. And then just still continuing to try to get back to Act 4. Which, maybe tomorrow's video will be exactly that. And I'll continue to play PoE to try to get back to where I was off screen, and then maybe put in some Destiny 2. Something I can do a one-off of. Or maybe a different game. Just as a filler until we get back to Act 4. Which, at the rate we've been going, it could be several days before we manage to do that. Or one day, right? Depends if we get good or not, I guess. Probably should have bought a skill-based gem or a minion-based gem at the line eyes. Almost said Raycrest. Raycrest? Raycrest? Is it Raycrest or? I think it's Raycrest is the name of the world we're in. I don't know why I'm having difficulty saying it. Even as I said it, it doesn't sound right in my head. Or out loud either, for that matter. I lost what I was talking about. See, now this is an area that you can get in a lot of trouble with. I'll show you what I'm talking about here because I think we're going to survive this anyway. Actually, if I had some skeletons, that would make this significantly easier. But this is actually how you're... I don't know if this is what the designers wanted you to do, but this is what you can do, right? I really could use some skeletons here. It would help with this. We might have to stop here because we need some support here to help us clear some of this out. We don't have zombies. We don't have skeletons. But this is what you would do. You would just keep running. Not pick up any loot. Let's see. We cleared all of that. Don't pick up loot. Keep going. And then get hit by explosions. I mean, that was just terrible. I mean, you can see the mobs are ramping up in difficulty because that's the way the mechanic works. But there's nothing stopping me from, I'm basically putting my neck on the line here every time I walk forward. And we can just keep doing it. The fog's running out now. That wasn't the best. We didn't clear the whole map by any means. But I think we could have if we had skeletons. And maybe a couple other summons too, but that's the way I think people are playing it. I don't think that's the way they want you to do it. Or maybe it is. They want you to do it and they want you to just get good. But realistically, they probably want you to strategize, whether or not you can, how far you can go. It's like fight or flight, right? Do you fight or do you run away? I think that's what they're going for. And everybody wants to fight and flight, but they want to flight in the wrong direction. Possibly. And again, I don't really know what's happening at endgame. We're not playing endgame. We don't know. We're speculating. In ignorance. I've been harping on this topic almost the whole episode now. I feel like I'm trying to dig a hole for myself, but try to fill it back in as I'm doing it. I don't know if I'm being if I'm doing it successfully or not. If you follow the other videos on this channel, we just put up a new series today. It should have went out this 2 o'clock today, 2 o'clock Eastern time. Ori and the Will of the Wisp, which looks like a pretty cool game. It's a very beautiful game. That just came out last week. Really looking forward to that game. It's not what I expected it to be, in a positive way. And I think that game is roughly, I checked this morning, it's roughly 12 hours in length. Or 8 to 16 hours. So I don't think we should have any issues with finishing that game. Especially because the game's a lot more forgiving about, you know, deaths, right? It kind of holds your hand through it. If you die, it just puts you right back where you died from. So health is kind of meaningless. Which is quite different from this game. I mean, this game, health is everything. Especially on hardcore. I mean, you die. You die, you're dead. Which I prefer, that style mechanic. I feel like it's just a lot of people are going to disagree with me on that. And that's okay. I mean, everybody has different ways of playing the game, and you don't have to play this version of the game to enjoy it. You could always just take death as off the table as being a threat. And sometimes I play that way in some games. A lot of the times I don't, because in fact most of the time in the past I hadn't. Always wanted to, but I didn't, because if you wind up putting so much time into some of these games, like, and I still fear, you know, for that about this is, you know, you could potentially put in, you know, thousands and thousands of hours if you survived for, you know, months and months. And I don't know how long seasons last either. They could only be a month. It could be 2 months. They could be 5 months. I have no idea. You play the game for 4 or 5 months, and then one day you just screw up, or maybe, you know, your internet service provider just decides it's time to rest in peace and back to the pit with you, you know. So, whoa, hello. Kind of forgot we were even doing Delirium there. I was waxing about hardcore mode. I really want skeletons. I keep hitting the key I had bound to skeletons, and we don't have any. We would love to have them, though.
Too much clutter.
I don't think I'm going to try to press on off screen here. I have some things I should do today. I don't really have time to, although I may later on tonight come back to it. Playing off screen to do catch up. So I think next episode we'll just record and And I'm not trying to really get ahead of the series, although I would like to have a few of these caught up, so at least when they're released, they're in high definition instead of 360p. Watching a 360p video is like it's like going back to the dark ages. Some would say that they were the golden ages too, but I would disagree. 360p is not for me. Now I'm not sure why they bury this the health bars in this game in the UI settings. I mean, I know they like to do immersion, right? They want the game to look as immersive as possible. So they've kind of minimized some of the elements to the side, so you're really just looking at, remove the health bar. You feel more like, yeah, I'm the witch in the game. And I say buried, I mean, it's right, it's top level menu option. It's not, whoa, goodness. Every time I talk about some of their design philosophies I don't agree with, I get just the horde of zombies come out of nowhere to try to kill me. Or whatever these guys, goatmen. These guys hit so hard, what are they? Powerful crits. Powerful crits indeed. Just two packs, was that the issue there? Might have been. So that's yeah. Something you gotta watch out for. Medium mana flask. I found some really interesting items yesterday that hopefully we can find something similar this time around. I found one of them doing the some of the zoo quest or the menagerie mobs. Found a unique flask that is going to be any good. Potentially could be good, I guess. It dropped a, or it was unique that gave you 2 buffs, shot out like some kind of AoE. It's really cool, actually. Let's put our skill point in here. Let's see, area of effect. I think we'll fill up this tree. Although we didn't go this way last time. I do want to go up this way. I think this is the offensive skill we will pick up. Not necessarily ASAP, but soon. ASAP, excuse me. We'll grab the waypoint here and then head back to Lion Eyes. I mean, if you think you guys are tired of seeing this area, this is probably like the 8th or 9th time I've done this. This week. Maybe more than that, actually. And I know some of you PoE veterans are like 9 times. I mean, I've probably done this like thousands of times or hundreds of times. Where's the good gems we want? Minion damage support is a really good one. It's like the one we want, actually, in spades. I kind of figured this out a little bit more too. We won't mess with it right now though. Passive skill point. Come back for that. Actually, we can just sell to him here. Red sockets are garbage for our class, so don't really care. This 11 fire resistances. Yeah, I think we do it just for the fire resistance, to be honest.
Still alive, are we?
Yeah. We are still alive. How did we get so good at games that we're capable of staying alive for all the way up to level, what are we, 11? It actually does go quite quick once you start getting the hang of it. It's a little bit of HP. Is that the one we had on? Increased global physical damage, garbage for us. Flash charges. Strength, armor, mana. I think this is probably better. $30 dex, 2% energy shield. This could actually be decent. That's okay. I'll do it just for the rarity. 9% increase rarity items. Sure. Sure. I mean, that was like the stat in Diablo. Well, one of the major ones. No, this game is not Diablo.
Stay sharp out there.
There's a lot of close similarities, though.
Farewell.
Rarity for items are it's usually a good thing. That's what I'm trying to say. Usually a positive stat. Until you die, and then you're like, well, why didn't I pick up health? Oh, destroy. Destroy it! I think we want that. We really want like a triple blue item so we can get our spirits for our raging spirits and our probably minion damage support, to be honest. Let's put in our last skill points. See, how easy is it to go up here from here? I'd have to go... It might just be faster to go this way. Alternatively, we can go this way, and then we can go this way, pick up a jewel socket, and then go this way. Pick up these. Is that what we're going to do? I think probably. 1% to maximum power charges. I don't know what that is. A power charge? I don't know. So we'll just go that way, I guess. And then this way. We have 1 point left. Do we not put our skill point in? Okay, guys. I think that's going to do it for this episode. If you liked the video, go ahead and drop it a like. If you like me, subscribe to The Unusual Mall. And we'll see you in the next episode of Path of Exile. Hopefully still alive. And that's going to do it here. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good day. Take care.